could do an entire day-long workshop just on this. We're going to do like 5 minutes. All right. So why tell stories, what stories to tell, and how to tell stories. Very quickly, why tell stories? They are so memorable. A fact wrapped in story is 22 times more memorable than that fact alone. Stories are more concrete than abstract thoughts. Stories usually connect with our emotions, and those things combined make stories very memorable. People may forget your point unless you tell a story. If they can remember your story, they're more likely to remember your point. So, what kind of stories can you tell in a presentation? Number one, they have to be relevant. Don't tell a story that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. You can use personal stories to relate to your audience. You can tell a success story. And here's some customized, tailored content. In the group I had, a story of success with budgeting or compound interest. Think about what you do and what would be a success story. You might have a cautionary tale, like a tale about what not to do. And there's so many more ideas. So how do you tell a story? This is one way. I call this the shape of a story, where you have to give a little context first: time, place, characters, goal. A challenge has to happen. A story without a challenge is just boring, and it should come very quickly in your story. Don't have too much context. Typically, there's some rising action, there's more complications. Then there is a turning point where things change, some falling action, and some kind of resolution. Now, it's a bonus if you can add dialogue, either with another person or inner dialogue. You never, ever want to go past the lunchtime. You do not be the thing that should be standing in the way of their lunch. Several years ago, I was the before lunch speaker right after the keynote speaker, a well-known local TV personality. If I said his name, those of you who live in Minnesota would know who I'm talking about. I was supposed to speak from 11 to noon. At 11 o'clock, he was still going strong. No problem, easy to adjust. 11:05, no sign of stopping. 11:10, I'm starting to get nervous here. 11:15, what am I going to cut? I have PowerPoint slides. How am I going to work this? Finally, at 11:20, he finishes and they introduce me. So I simply decided to not talk about my last point, and I was able to finish 1 minute before noon. So it was successful, and I was not in the way of their lunch.